What's up, everyone? Justin here again with another video in the year in wrestling 1992. This is part 3 of 1992. I'll be talking about SummerSlam 92 and Halloween Havoc 92 and some other news items I'll be talking about. I don't want this video to be that long, so I'm only going to be talking about 2 pay-per-view events. I'll do a part 4 on 1992 to finish the year off. First, I'm going to talk about some news that from April 92 that I forgot to talk about in the last video. On April 4th, the USA Network debuts the WBF Bodybuilding Stars, or it was called Body Stars, a new weekly bodybuilding program. The show features former WCW World Champion Lex Luger, and it is a ratings failure. It did not do good in the ratings at all. And I'm sure the show sucked. I didn't have cable in 92. I was a young kid. So if I did have cable, I for damn sure would have not watched the WBF. Because it sounded like shit and crap. I don't know why on earth Vince McMahon got this idea in his head. I'm going to start the WBF. And I can't even believe he got the USA Network to agree to put this show on the air. Because nobody wants to watch bodybuilders on a weekly show. I mean, if you do, you're weird. And I understand being healthy and wanting to go to the gym and work out and have a good body. But I don't understand bodybuilding. The dudes that are into bodybuilding and that look like bodybuilders, they just look like freaks. And they all look like they're on steroids. But anyways, I'm not gonna go on a rant about my dislike for bodybuilding. But the WBF failed because wrestling fans are not gonna watch bodybuilders posing. I don't even get the concept of the show and what the hell the WBF Body Stars was supposed to be about. How was it supposed to make people care? I mean, were we supposed to care about the bodybuilders? I don't know, but it did not work out. Thank God. It was a failure. And I guess Vince McMahon thought he could make bodybuilding big, and he could make the bodybuilders superstars just because he made the WWF worldwide global phenomenon, and he made all the wrestlers the big superstars. Well, all the wrestlers have talent. Bodybuilders, they don't have much talent. They don't go in a ring and wrestle, and they don't take bumps for over 300 days a year, and they aren't on the road, and they're not tough. They're not tougher than wrestlers, and they're not better than wrestlers. Bodybuilding is boring, and nobody would watch a TV show about bodybuilding. And the ratings showed that, because nobody did watch it, and the show got canceled. So that was on April 4th, 92, WBF Body Stars was a ratings failure. And I guess Lex Luger was on the show. That was awful. That was just stupid. Lex Luger should have not agreed, but he did. July 31st, 92, WWF World Champion Randy Savage appears on this Arsenio Hall show and admits that he experimented with steroids, pointing out that the muscle enhancing drug was legal when he did it. this isn't a big deal. A lot of guys in the late 80s took steroids. A lot of guys are still on steroids probably in 1990 and 91. Then the WWF finally started testing for steroids and got all their talent off steroids. I think in 92, in 93, and 94, and 95, WWF was testing every guy for steroids. Making them do urine tests right in front of the doctors so nobody would be on steroids and so the WWF would not get in trouble. WCW, I don't think they had a drug testing system. I don't think they tested for steroids at all in the 90s. But I could be wrong. Maybe they started in the late 90s. But I know the WWF was testing all their superstars in the early 90s for steroids. It's not a big deal. If a guy takes steroids, I don't care. As long as he doesn't look like a freak and like super jacked like Scott Steiner. As long as he doesn't look super jacked and unhealthy and like it's obvious that somebody is on the juice, then if it's obvious, then I got a problem with it. But if they were just taking him to make their body recover better from injury and they didn't look like freaks, then I didn't care. As long as a guy and a wrestler does not abuse steroids, then I think it's a non-issue with me. I don't care if they take them. But I don't think any WWE superstar right now, I don't think anybody is on any steroids. I mean, the strongest guy, the biggest guys they got is Ryback. He looks like he could be on steroids, and John Cena. But I don't think Cena's on him. But Ryback, he could be because his body looks like a freak. Okay, now I'm going to talk about SummerSlam 1992. SummerSlam 92 from Wembley Stadium in London, England. It was a massive, massive crowd. If you watch that pay-per-view back, the crowd was massive. It was a huge crowd in Wembley Stadium in London, England. Just a massive crowd, and it was really impressive to see. I think they drew 80,000, maybe more. First match was, and SummerSlam 92 was not very good. The crowd and the look of the show was very impressive. And the production was great. The lighting was great. And the crowd in the stadium made the show look like a huge show, like a WrestleMania type show. But the matches were not very good at all, except for one or two. So, up first you had these other two matches they list, I'm pretty sure were dark matches. Maybe I'm wrong. So, we're going to go to the pay-per-view matches at SummerSlam. The Legion of Doom took on Money Incorporated. And the Legion of Doom came down to the ring on motorcycles. And they had some stupid ventriloquist dummy on one of the motorcycles with them. Some dumb dummy was with the Road Warriors. I think his name was Rocco. And it was very stupid. It was very, very kiddish. I don't know what the WWF was thinking. Maybe they wanted to sell these ventriloquist dummies for all the kids that were Road Warriors and Legion of Doom fans. I didn't get it. And it was very stupid to have a dummy coming to the ring with the Legion of Doom. Legion of Doom were badasses. They looked like badasses that could beat the fuck out of you. They didn't need a stupid ventriloquist dummy with them to water their gimmicks down. So, the Road Warriors, the Legion of Doom, they were never called the Road Warriors in 91 or 92 in the WWF. They were called the Legion of Doom. They defeat Money Incorporated. Nails, the psychopath. Nails, the guy's crazy in the head. Because after SummerSlam 92, and I think it was after Survivor Series 92, this guy Nails actually attacked Vince McMahon backstage. Guess he had a meeting with him, and he jumped across the table and started choking Vince McMahon. So there's something wrong inside his fucking head. This guy Nails was insane to want to attack Vince. Maybe he wanted to attack him for a good reason. Maybe it was over a pay. I don't know. But you still don't attack your boss. That's crazy and very stupid. So Nails wasn't around very long. He only was on SummerSlam 92 and Survivor Series 92. Then the guy was gone, fired. Then he pops up in WCW for one pay-per-view. And that was a fucking mess. So Nails defeats Virgil in 3 minutes, 55 seconds. It was very boring. It was not much of a match. Up next, this was a pretty good match. Shawn Michaels against Rick the Model Martel. And in the match, they couldn't punch each other in the face. Because, I don't know who made up the stipulation. But Sensational Sherry was Shawn Michaels' manager, and she was also getting affection from Rick Martel. So, I guess it was Sherry's idea. She didn't want them to punch each other in their faces because they're both pretty boys. Their gimmicks were both pretty boys. So, they didn't punch each other in the face for a long time until the match got out of control and they both got really angry, and I believe they started punching each other in the face. And Sherry got so upset that she fainted and passed out at ringside. Shawn Michaels or Rick Martel carried her, and they went to the back, and then they knocked over whoever was carrying Sherry. The other guy knocked him over, and they started fighting again. So that match ends. Shawn Michaels against Rick Martel ends in a double countout. World Tag Team Champions, the Natural Disasters, defeat the Beverly Brothers. That was pretty boring. Crush defeated the Repo Man. That was pretty boring. This was not boring. This was a very good match for the WWF Championship. The Ultimate Warrior challenging Randy Macho Man Savage for the WWF World Championship. And Ric Flair and Mr. Perfect got involved at the end of this match. They came down to ringside to interfere. I believe Randy Savage dove off the top and took out Ric Flair, took out Mr. Perfect. So, Ultimate Warrior and Randy Savage, the match ends. Ultimate Warrior wins by countout, and the match went 28 minutes. It was a very good match. I enjoyed it. Warrior and Savage always worked super well together, and it was some great stuff. Up next, another pointless, boring match. The Undertaker defeated Kamala by disqualification. And that match only went 3 minutes, 27 seconds. Kim Chi interfered. He was the manager of Kamala. Tatanka pinned the Berserker. That was boring. Nothing against Tatanka. The guy was a great worker. Just, it was boring to see him defeat Berserker. No one cared. Up next was the main event of the show. The hometown boy, Davey Boy Smith from England, challenging for the Intercontinental Championship, challenging his brother-in-law in real life, Bret the Hitman Hart, the Intercontinental Champion. This was a great, great match. One of the matches of the year in '92. It was a very good match. Probably one of the best top 5 or top 10 best SummerSlam matches in WWE history. So, as everybody knows, Davey Boy Smith pinned Bret Hart to win the Intercontinental Championship in 25 minutes, 40 seconds. Then Davey Boy's wife came out, Diana Smith Hart, came out, lifted both their hands up, raised their hands up, pyro went off, and that was the end of SummerSlam 92. As I said, there were 2 very good matches on the show. Randy Savage and Warrior, and Davey Boy and Bret Hart were very good matches on SummerSlam 92. The rest of the show was very boring. Except Shawn Michaels and Rick Martel was pretty entertaining. But that's it. That's all I enjoyed. But the look of the show, as I said, the huge crowd, and the production looked awesome. In '92, in WCW, you did not see massive crowds like that. Like, WCW never drew 80,000 people ever. They came close in the Georgia Dome for Nitros. I believe they drew 40 to 50,000 for Monday Nitros in '98. That's impressive, but it's not 80,000. But the WWF in '92 was a worldwide promotion. They were really over in England and worldwide, so WWF was the #1 promotion in '92. And if you don't believe they were, then you're just stupid, because they were. To draw that many people, I mean, I don't think they could have drew 80,000 in the United States in '92. So they went over to England, where they knew Davey Boy Smith would sell a lot of tickets. And he did. And a lot of guys are over in England. Ultimate Warrior got a huge pop. Macho Man got a huge pop. Road Warriors were really over. Legion of Doom got a huge pop when they came out. So England, they're great wrestling fans, and they love their wrestling, and they love the WWE. I think England should get pay-per-view. It's time for WWE to go back to England for a live pay-per-view event. It could start here at 4:30 in the morning again. I would not mind. I'd wake up and watch it. If it was on a Saturday or Sunday, I'd wake up and watch it. So England deserves a pay-per-view. They deserve any pay-per-view. Battleground, Hell in the Cell, TLC, or a SummerSlam, or a Royal Rumble, or a Survivor Series, or a WrestleMania. WWE should go back to England and do a pay-per-view, because they would draw a big crowd, and they'd make a lot of money, I'm sure. And I have a lot of England, a lot of Twitter followers that are friends of mine from England that I talk to and that I'm friends with. They're great people, and they're great wrestling fans. England deserves a pay-per-view again. Okay, so I'm done talking about SummerSlam. Now I'm going to talk about the Pro Wrestling Illustrated Awards for 1992. Wrestler of the Year for 1992 was Ric Flair. Runner-up was Ron Simmons. Because I believe it was August or September, may have been October. It was before Halloween Havoc. Ron Simmons won the WCW World Championship, the first African American World Heavyweight Champion in wrestling history. He defeated Vader to win the WCW World title in, I think it was the fall of 92, right before Halloween Havoc, because he defended, I'm pretty sure he was the I think he was the world champion in 90, not 91. I'm thinking of Luger and Ron Simmons worked Halloween Havoc 91. So, anyways, going into Halloween Havoc 92, Ron Simmons was the WCW champion and defended the belt on Halloween Havoc. Tag Team of the Year for 1992 was Terry Gordy and Dr. Death, Steve Williams. I agree, they were a great team. Runners-up were the Natural Disasters. Match of the Year for 1992 was Bret Hart versus Davey Boy Smith from SummerSlam 92. Very good match. And the runner-up, could have won. It was very good. Runner-up was Brian Pillman versus Jushin Liger from Super Brawl 2. They had an epic match for the Light Heavyweight Championship. Feud of the Year. Feud of the Year for 1992 was, I guess this was in Memphis. I don't know for what promotion. Probably was the USWA. The feud of the year was the Moondogs versus Jeff Jarrett and Jerry Lawler. I never saw that feud because I didn't get Memphis wrestling or Memphis television channels where I live. Runner-up for 92 was Ric Flair versus Randy Savage. And in my opinion, Ric Flair versus Randy Savage should have won Feud of the Year. Most popular wrestler of the year for 92 was Sting. And the runner-up was the Ultimate Warrior. Most hated wrestler of the year was Rick Rude. Runner-up was Ric Flair. Most improved wrestler of the year for 92 was Razor Ramon. Runner-up was Ron Simmons. Inspirational wrestler of the year for 92 was Ron Simmons. Runner-up was The Undertaker. Rookie of the year for 92 was Eric Watts. He was god-awful. He tried, but he was not good. The runner-up was Diamond Dallas Page for Rookie of the Year. Comeback of the year for 92. The winner was the Ultimate Warrior. Runner-up, number 2 was Bob Backlund. That is the awards that were given out by Pro Wrestling Illustrated for 1992. Now I'm going to talk about WCW's Halloween Havoc. 1992 took place from Philadelphia. Great wrestling city. Great hardcore fans in Philly. First match of the pay-per-view was the Z-Man, Shane Douglas, and Johnny Gunn defeated the team of Arn Anderson, Bobby Eaton, and Michael Hayes. Up next, a very good match, very good wrestling match. Ricky Steamboat taking on Brian Pillman. At this time, Brian Pillman was working as a heel. He had an attitude change, and he became a heel, and he was a great heel. Ricky Steamboat defeats Brian Pillman. Up next, big no disqualification match. Big Van Vader defending the United States title for Rick Rude. Pinned Nikita Koloff, and Vader gave Nikita a vicious looking powerbomb. Looked like it injured Nikita Koloff. Probably injured his back. I actually think it did injure his back, and it took him out of wrestling forever. After that back injury, I believe he may have broke his back. I don't know if Vader did it. He may have, but Nikita got injured after the match against Vader, and I think he retired real soon after the injury at Halloween Havoc 92. So Vader defeats Nikita Koloff and injured him with a powerbomb. And WCW and NWA World Tag Team Champions Dustin Rhodes and Barry Windham wrestled to a 30-minute draw against Steve Williams, Dr. Death Steve Williams, and another guy, which his real name is Steve Williams also, Steve Austin. And Steve Williams wrestled to a draw with Barry Windham and Dustin Rhodes. That was a very good tag match. Rick Rude defeated the NWA champion Masahiro Chono by disqualification. That was a good wrestling match. World champion Ron Simmons defeated the Barbarian with Cactus Jack. The Barbarian was with Cactus Jack. Ron Simmons defeated the Barbarian and retains the WCW World title. And in a Coal Miner's Glove match on their spin the wheel, make the deal gimmick. They spun the wheel, it landed on Coal Miner's glove. It was a old school looking glove, and it was like a weapon, I guess. It was supposed to hurt guys. I don't know what was in the glove. Maybe it was made of metal, I don't know. But you had Sting taking on Jake the Snake Roberts, which was, Jake the Snake was new to WCW. He just came in, I believe, in the summer of '92. Jake the Snake appeared, and that was really odd to see Jake the Snake pop up in WCW. He did not fit at all in WCW. They did not know what the hell to do with him. He worked with Sting on one pay-per-view, and then he disappeared. And before Halloween Havoc 92, when Jake the Snake came out and debuted in WCW, he came out, DDT'd Sting, and used a chair, and the crowd was pretty shocked, so he got a good reaction. But Jake the Snake did not work in WCW at all, and he did not fit, in my opinion. It was just odd to see Jake working in WCW on a pay-per-view. So, Sting, of course, everybody knows that watched the show. Sting defeated Jake the Snake in 10 minutes, 34 seconds to end Halloween Havoc 92. That was Halloween Havoc 1992. I also talked about SummerSlam. And then I talked about some of the PWI award winners. And I'm going to talk about one more news item from 92. October 1st, 92, Kerry Von Erich is sentenced on 6 felony counts of prescription fraudery. He receives a 10-year suspended sentence. I don't know what that means. 10 years suspended sentence. I don't know what the hell that means. But he also received 10 years of supervised probation and a $6,000 fine. I think very soon after Kerry Von Erich got in trouble and got sentenced to 6 felony counts, I think very soon after, I think in 93, pretty sure in 93, maybe 94, Kerry Von Erich then committed suicide and shot himself. Because I'm sure he knew he was going to prison for a long time. And he couldn't deal with it. and he probably still had addiction problems, and he couldn't get rid of his addiction problems, so he didn't know how to deal with that. A lot of people with addiction problems kill themselves because they don't know what to do, and I guess they don't want to go to rehab, and they don't want to be clean, so they kill themselves. Because if they don't kill themselves with a gun, they're killing themselves anyway with drinking too much or taking drugs over and over, because that will kill you. I know it will kill you. Addiction is a disease. I've had a lot of addiction problems. Not me, but in my family. My father was an alcoholic for years and years and years. He was also addicted to marijuana. He passed away probably 22 years ago. My father passed away from drinking and drug use. So I know a lot about addiction problems. It really, really, really sucks to have a addict living with you or around you, or if you know an addict in your family or a friend that just won't stop drinking and doing drugs. It's very, very sad, and you can't really help them out because they don't listen to you, and the addict they don't want help until they hit rock bottom and they want help for themselves. So I know a lot about addiction. My father died. He was an alcoholic. And my uncle died in '96. He was an alcoholic. And both my uncle, I probably shouldn't be sharing this, but I'm gonna. Both my uncle and my father did abuse me a little bit. They put their hands on me when I was a young kid, and they did abuse me and hit me a couple times. But that was a long, long time ago, and I wish they were both still here so I could see them and be close with them now and have a friendship with them now. But they're not here. They're both gone. So addiction sucks. That's the bottom line. And it sounds like Kerry Von Erich had a bad addiction problem. So I'm done talking about the year in wrestling 1992. This was part 3. I'll come back and do a part 4 on the last 2 pay-per-views of the year. Thanks for watching this video, everybody. Bye for now.